My name is Britt Leverance, and I'm going to walk through Dissecting the Contemporary Botanical Art World. Let's start by looking at the global art market to see if there's any information about the botanical art world. This is from the Art Basel and UBS Art Market Report from 2025. Specific data for botanical art in the global art market is not available, but Renee Phillips, Director of Manhattan Art International, states botanical subjects are a niche market in the global art world. And as you can see in 2024, the global art market was valued at about $57.5 billion. Digging a bit deeper, given most botanical artworks on paper, it's most likely that the majority of botanical artwork is a subset within the market of works on paper. Approximately 11% of the art market for both fine art dealers and auction sales on paper is about $6.3 billion, or 11%. Victoria Bayer, in her Natural History Art and Illustration blog, says, quote, "The evolution of botanical art from traditional to contemporary arts states one notable shift in contemporary botanical art is a trend toward creating more photorealistic and hyperrealistic paintings. Then one might conclude that of the 11% of the global art market produced on paper, with 16% being contemporary, with botanical art being a subset of the market of approximately 1 billion, or about 2% of the global art market. Unfortunately, there is no hard data to quantify the exact size of the botanical art market." Now let's look at some of the roots of botanical illustration art and ponder how it has influenced contemporary botanical illustration. In ancient Egypt, the lotus flower played a very important role in the life and preparations for the afterlife of the ancient Egyptian people. It is believed that many tomb paintings, the deceased is painted holding or smelling a lotus flower. It was believed that a lotus blossom, because of its intense fragrance, would help restore the senses of the deceased person once they reached the afterlife. About 2,000 years ago, Pandanius Discordes, a physician traveling through the Roman Empire with the Emperor Nero's army, would collect samples of the local medicinal herbs wherever he went. He turned his passion for plants and other medicinal substances into a monumental reference work, the De Materia Medica, published in 70 AD. It contained information and paintings of herbs and pharmaceutical plants that remain the supreme authority on the subject for over 1,500 years. Leonhard Fuchs was a German physician and botanist whose work significantly advanced botanical illustration and herbal medicine. His most famous publication, Historia Stirpium, in 1542, set a new standard for botanical accuracy with its 500 detailed woodcut illustrations. Maria Sylvia Marion was a German naturalist, entomologist, and botanical artist whose groundbreaking work revolutionized the study of insects and plants. She was one of the first European scientists to document insect metamorphosis through direct observation, challenging the prevailing belief in spontaneous generation. Mariam's work was highly respected by later scientists, including Carl Linnaeus, who used her illustration in his classification system. In her article, Carl Linnaeus and the Visual Representation of Nature, in the Historical Studies in the Natural Sciences magazine 2011 issue, Isabel Charpentier states, quote, "The Swedish naturalist Carl Linnaeus is reputed to have transformed botanical practice by shunning the process of illustrating plants and relying on the primacy of literary descriptions of plant specimens. The overwhelming consensus, based mostly on his Lapland diary, is that Linnaeus could not draw. But she goes on to say his visual thinking played a fundamental role in his construction of new system of classification. He revolutionized the classical classification of plants with his binomial nomenclature system, which remains the foundation of modern taxonomy to this day. The parallel worlds of art and science had strong roots in the botanical illustration world. From these strong roots, botanical illustration stems grew, and the botanical artists grew exponentially over time. The stem of botanical artists exploded with numerous botanical illustrators. Different curators have different lists, which only touch on a few of the botanical artists. We will explore a few of these works of these artists, but as you can see, the list is long. These are all just incredible artists. George Dionysius Ehret is one of the most influential botanical artists of all time, due to his development of the Linnaeus style of botanical illustration. He worked closely with Carl Linnaeus at the time. The latter was developing a system of binomial nomenclature and illustrated his findings. He was also a prodigious artist who produced an enormous number of high-quality illustrations for various botanical publications and plant collectors. At the top of the painting of the Magnolia, you see the Linnaean binomial Latin naming Lauro Cerasi. I've enlarged it on this slide so you can see it easier. It's hard to actually see it, but you see also on this that he was broken down. You see the flower and its various stages. You see it's fully formed as well as the seed head. Pierre-Joseph Rédaux revolutionized botanical illustration by combining scientific accuracy with artistic elegance. His meticulous watercolor paintings, particularly in Les Roses and Les Lilacias, set a new standard for botanical art, influencing both scientific documentation and aesthetic appreciation. His use of stipple engraving allowed for more delicate shading and lifelike detail, making his work more accessible to a broader audience. Marianne North's artistic techniques were truly innovative. She departed from the traditional approach of botanical illustration on watercolor on paper, favoring oil paints over watercolors, and depicting plants in their natural environments rather than isolation. One of her most lasting contributions is the Marianne North Gallery at the Kew Gardens in England, which houses more than 800 of her paintings. She funded the gallery herself. Margaret Mee was a British botanical artist and environmentalist renowned for her stunning depictions of Amazonian Florida. She was one of the first artists to highlight the impact of deforestation on the Amazon rainforest, using her paintings to advocate for conservation. Mee's work is distinguished by her meticulous attention to detail and her ability to capture the vibrancy of tropical plants. This particular painting of the moonflower cactus that blooms once a year only at night. Pretty dedicated to get that one. Strong stems has led to many flowers. The botanical illustration world has exploded with many organizations dedicated to botanical illustration. Established in 1759, the Kew Garden spans 330 acres and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Kew Gardens, officially known as the Royal Botanic Gardens Kew, is one of the most renowned botanical institutions in the world. Located in London, England, it houses the largest and most diverse botanical and mycological collections globally. Kew is not just a garden, it's a hub for scientific research, conservation, and education. It holds over 50,000 living plant specimens, a herbarium with more than 8.5 million preserved specimens, and a library containing 750,000 volumes. Established in 1961, the Hunt Institute for Botanical Documentation, located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, is a globally recognized center for botanical research, illustration, and archival documentation. It is an institution of international bibliographical research in the fields of botany, horticulture, and plant science history. It has a research library of over 30,000 works and art holdings. It holds international botanical art and illustration exhibitions with artists from around the world participating. Established in 1985 by Suzanne Lucas, the Society of Botanical Artists brings together artists of national and international repute from England. With so much emphasis on the environment and portraying the plants that are so vital to our planet and restorative to our souls, their mission is to promote the skills of artists using varied range of media who all excel in their ability to portray botanical forms in an accurate, unique, or interesting way. Founded by Diane Boucher in 1994, the American Society of Botanical Artists has nearly 2,000 individual members across 39 countries, along with more than 40 institutional members. In 2018, it coordinated a worldwide effort to document wild plant species in 25 countries, each holding exhibitions simultaneously on 6 continents called Botanical Art Worldwide. ASBA members include botanical artists of all levels, from beginners to masters, instructors, collectors, curators, botanical gardens, museums, academic institutions, and libraries. Thousands of artists from around the world are actively involved with botanical art. There are 64 national and local botanical societies around the world. Clearly, contemporary botanical art is more than just still life painting. Botanical artists capture the essence and spirit of the plants from around the world. Contemporary botanical art continues to attract artists from around the world. Botanical art serves multiple purposes, blending science, aesthetics, and conservation. Artists create botanical illustration for scientific documentation, artistic expression, conservation awareness, educational value, and historical significance. As you can see, these are my references, mainly around the individual artists that I tried to capture. In these websites, the links are active, so you can see which sources for each artist that I used, going all the way through the Kew Garden, Botanical Artists. That was actually a great resource. The Botanical Art and Artists shows up several times in my references. Happy to take any questions. Thank you.